right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, as always, we're going to give all honor, praise, and glory to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Bahashem, Yahweh
Yahweh
Shai,
Shai,
Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Rachakodash,
Rakakwadash.
and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, where we learned this truth from. And peace, mercy, and blessings be upon the hopeful elect that believe on this truth and sincerity. It's the brother Yahweh Khan.
Khan, the fellow servant Arashah, Shalom.
We the brothers from the GMS Cleveland branch come back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson, just something quick and to the point. You know, just want to speak on how the wrath of the Lord is coming. Okay, it's coming upon the planet Earth. We already see it here, but it's going to increase and become more intense. Okay, and specifically and mainly aimed at you Israelites that rebel against the Most High.
Right, that's right. Can you kick it off with 1 Peter 4? And I want to say it's around 17 and 18. Because, yeah, man, the Lord said that judgment will begin first with you Israelites. And it's just for the statement that brother, mentioned, we're going to get it, man.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 15 because ultimately the Lord is about to make the whole nation suffer.
Right.
But you're going to have some that suffer for being wicked. And you're going to have some that suffer for being righteous. And we hope to be a part of that righteous remnant that suffer for the sake of righteousness.
That's right.
That's why it says this in 1 Peter chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer or as a thief or as an evildoer or as a busybody in other men's matters.
Yeah. You don't want to suffer for pretty much because scripture speaks about suffering wrongfully. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately for Yahweh Shai's sake. You don't want to suffer, for wickedness, man. If you're going to suffer anything, just like I think of Acts, the 5th chapter, the apostles, they counted themselves worthy to suffer shame for the name of Yahweh Shai, the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. You want to suffer for righteousness' sake, not for some wickedness, in this world per se. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, your name being brought up for petty theft because you're stealing out of a store. You're doing it, like I said, as a murderer or as a thief or as an evildoer. You know what I mean? No, you want to suffer for righteousness' sake, man. You know what I'm saying? For the names of Yahweh Shimon Shah. Like he wasn't a high priest, but his name was Eleazar. He was a scribe. You know what I'm saying? A principal scribe in the Apocrypha. You know what I'm saying? Who was constrained and forced to eat the king's meat. You see what I'm saying? Or attempted to, allegedly. They tried to force him to. He suffered for righteousness. He said he wasn't going to leave a stain to dishonor his name, roughly paraphrasing, man. That's an example of suffering for righteousness' sake. Or the 7 sons of the Maccabees who were tormented into death. That's suffering for righteousness' sake. You see what I'm saying? Not like I said, as a murderer, as a thief, or as an evildoer. You got it, brother.
1 Peter 4 and 16. Yet if any man suffer as Hamashiachim, it says, let him not be ashamed. So if you catch in hell, if you find yourself locked up, for preaching the word, you find yourself in the sea camp, people casting out your name falsely for the sake of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you can't be ashamed of that.
Yeah. And if I could say verbatim reading it, because the brother mentioned Hamashiachim, which is on point, but it said Christian, which essentially that's a follower of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, which is us, the believers, man. So, like, if you could bring that verse back one more time.
1 Peter 4 and 16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed.
Yep.
Because that's another thing too. When people see us catching hell for the sake of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, they downplay and demonize us and make it seem like it's a bad thing. Right. But it said, but let him not be ashamed. Why? Because it says, but let him glorify the Most High on this behalf. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? So when you see judgment taking place, when brothers catching hell, when people in the world catching hell, it's a good thing if you catching hell for the sake of righteousness, because we know that we in the time of the Lord bringing judgment upon his house. Okay, it begins with those that know that they Israelites. So you're going to have brothers in certain situations, but imagine what's going to happen to those that's not obeying the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
That's it. Hey, the next verse you about to read, going to go into it.
Verse 18, it says, and if the righteous scarcely be saved,
right?
Scarcely meaning barely,
yep,
almost not.
Yep.
You know, because Job said it. He said, "I am escaped by the skin of my teeth."
Yep.
I mean, I barely made it out. So it says, "And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?"
And they gonna have no place. You know what I'm saying? The ungodly, the sinner, hey, they're gonna be blotted out, man. You see what I'm saying? Maybe that's a poor choice of words, but essentially they're gonna be destroyed. They ain't gonna have no place, man. I think of a precept, and if I may, I'm gonna get it real quick and we could go back to the other precept that I had lined up. But I think of what is it, Sirach, the 12th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's Sirach 12:6, if I'm not mistaken. It mentions the sinners, right? Yep. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 6. And this is amongst many other ones you can get for this. But it says, "For the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment." You see, so the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, he hateth sinners, man. You see what I'm saying? And not just the sin, he hates the sinner too. It says, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment.
Contrary to popular belief, okay, people think you got plantation Christianity teach you that God hate the sin, but he don't hate the sinner. No, he said he gonna keep, meaning he gonna reserve you until the day of punishment.
Yes.
So meaning the Lord is gonna make sure you get what you deserve, your just reward.
It's the spirit. That's the when I go to this Jude scripture, because you mentioned the word reserve, that's the middle verse that's coming up. So I'm gonna grab this. This is Jude 1:5. It says, "I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this." And that is literally the definition of education, to draw out what's within you. You see, and we once knew this in our past lives, because in the previous captivities, we knew that we were Israelites. We knew our heritage. It was in this captivity, pursuing the Jeremiah 17:4, which even I may say that happened to him back then too, because the Lord was prophesying to Jeremiah. He said that thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. And it's in this captivity under these Edomites, Babylon the Great, that we really fell away from knowing who we are. You know what I'm saying? Our heritage, man. Okay? It says, "I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believe not." You see? And who is that people that were saved? Ultimately, all of Israel. Okay? But this time around, the Lord is not coming to deliver all of Israel. But what? It said, "But afterward destroy them that believe not," right? Because the Lord delivered them and they were in the wilderness, wandering. How long was it? About roughly 40 years. Okay? And if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, it was the men, primarily the men that were like 20 years old and upwards that passed on, man. The Lord was dealing with the youth back then, man. You see? Because they had the faith. You see? He said, "Afterward destroy them that believe not." You see? And this is what the Lord is coming to do again. He said, "For what if some did not believe?" So the faith, roughly paraphrasing how to go, Romans 3:3.
Shall make the faith of the Most High without effect.
Without effect. He said, "God forbid, man." I
mean, the Lord is still gonna do what he planned, okay, what he promised, what he prophesied through his prophets, regardless of whether or not a nigga believe. Because you got a lot of people that think just because they don't believe in what the scriptures say, what the men of the Lord say through the spirit and power of the Lord, they think just because they don't believe in it, it's not gonna happen. But that's why they're gonna be confounded. They're gonna be disappointed. They're gonna be perplexed when the things that the men of the Lord was saying actually do happen.
That's it. That made me think of 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. Talk about their incredulity. Let not their incredulity or their unbelief trouble thee that speak against thee, man. And that's their unbelief, right? Because we already know what's going to befall them, the unbelievers, man. They're going to be destroyed. They're going to perish, man. Ultimately, this is for the true believers, the hardcore believers of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. So it goes on to say, verse 6, Jude 1:6, "And the angels," which angels goes into messengers as well, "which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day." And what's those everlasting chains of darkness?
Talk about the flesh.
This flesh, these bodies. You know what I'm saying? It says reserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. You know, when we're gonna be changed, man. You know, we in this flesh. The scripture saying this flesh doing no good thing, man. You know, these chains of darkness, because you can't escape them. You know, when you're sick, you gotta endure that sickness. You know, when you're in this flesh, man. You know what I'm saying? It literally is a chain. It's a chain. How can I put it? Your soul, all right, is housed in this abode, this house, this fleshly house, so to speak, and it's stuck here until the Lord, come deliver us from it, man.
God. And chains, they also weigh you down.
Yes.
When you're wearing them, they weigh you down. So that's
Yes.
what the flesh does. It weighs us down.
Because it's contrary to the spirit. The scripture say the two are contrary to one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would, man. They're warring with one another, that being the spirit that's within us and our flesh. The flesh want the things that feel good, that's pleasing to it, whereas the spirit is striving to seek and to please Yahweh Shema Shai, man, constantly, man. And in the kingdom, we're going to be perfected. We're going to have laws and commandments written on our inward parts, even though we're going to be in this fleshly house. We're more than conquerors. The brother mentioned that earlier. We're going to ultimately conquer this flesh. You see?
Okay.
So it says, verse 7, even as Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It mentions two, but it's of those 5 cities that the Lord destroyed. It says, in the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
And that eternal fire is just metaphorically speaking, because the remembrance of what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, that's everlasting. The fact that those cities was destroyed by the angels, which the world ignorantly calls UFOs, they was destroyed due to what? Due to the Moism. The alphabet community was happening back then. Okay, so how much more America, who promotes the who created the alphabet community to a point that it has never before reached, to the point where they got a whole month dedicated to it, to the point where they didn't misconstrue the Heavenly Father's bow that he set in the clouds to be a covenant between him and all flesh. They done misconstrued it to be wickedness.
That's it.
How much more this place is gonna suffer the same judgment. That's why I say spiritually called Sodom and Egypt.
Yeah. And I got that account pulled up, but I'm looking up those 5 cities. Here it is. In Genesis 10 and 19. Straight to the point, it says, in the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon and Salakia, hold on. Admah, Zeboim, and Lasha. I want to confirm this. I want to see about confirming this.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that Admah is it, Sodom, Gomorrah, Zeboim is it, but I wasn't sure about that last one, Lasha. I want to say that may or may not be it.
It was Sodom, Gomorrah, Zeboim, Zoar, and Admah.
Admah. All right, so it's Zoar. That was the other one, the water for the correction. I was trying to find it. All right. But yeah, the brother just helped me out, man. It's Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and you mentioned Zoar, that's Zoar. All right, as those 5 cities that were destroyed. Okay, that the Lord destroyed as an example. So I got the account here in 2 Peter chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. All right, because it reiterates what we just read in Jude, the 1st chapter. It says, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, as I mentioned, those angels are messengers, referring to us, the hopeful elect, man. All right. It says that sinned, but cast them down to hell, which is this condition that we're in now, and delivered them into chains of darkness. You see, this flesh to be reserved unto judgment. You see, that great day that we were just prophesying of, which is fastly approaching. It says, and spare not the old world, but save Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. And that was the first death. We mentioned flood-like behavior. What's that scripture that's in the Apocrypha that talk about for these sakes came the flood? For their sakes came the flood. You see, the flood-like behavior is back again today. That was the old world. I don't know why. Don't quote me. I don't know why the term antiquity is coming to mind. I gotta look that up. But there's a term for it. There's a certain term for it when you look up that old world, there's a certain term for it. I was trying to put my finger on, which is neither here nor there, but there's a certain term for that. Okay, pre, how can I put it? Pre-flood, when the world was one, Pangea was all one and shit, you know. But it says, verse 6, 2 Peter 2 and 6, it says, "And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after shall live ungodly." So this is an example, okay? Sodom and Gomorrah was an example. We read about the account. There's still evidence over there in that landmass, in that region of the Lord, bringing fire upon that place, man. And how they can't grow certain vegetation to this very day as an example unto those that after shall live ungodly. And look at America
Mm-hmm.
following right in its stead. You see? And so this is what's going to befall them as well.
I got
You got it.
the word ensample
Come.
in a blue letter.
Strong's G 5262. Hupadigma. Hupadigma.
Hupadigma. It says a sign suggestive of anything, delineation of a thing, a representation, a
Mm-hmm.
figure, a copy, an example. It says for a warning of a thing to be shunned.
Mm-hmm.
So all the moism we see happening, all the immorality we see happening should be shunned. Why? Because what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah when it wasn't shunned? It was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So since it isn't being shunned here, but rather promoted, this place is going to be destroyed as well. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Sodom and Gomorrah was for. It was
Mm-hmm.
for an example. It was for a warning of what would happen to any kingdom that follow after those ways.
Yep. And we speak about in Revelation the image of the beast, which saying the image, it goes to likeness. Going back to Rome, how this stems from Rome, and even before that, dealing with the Grecians. They following in the same suit, the same stead, man. So therefore, they're going to receive the same judgment. It says here in 2 Peter 2 and 7, "And deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked." And we're likewise, as righteous Lot, vexed, okay, with the conversation or the anastrophe, the wickedness, the mannerisms, all right, of the wicked, man. You see, and speaking against it, like you said, shunning it. And as you mentioned that, it made me think of Job. He said he was, as roughly paraphrasing, a just man that eschewed evil. And when you go into eschewed, pretty much he abhorred it, he shunned it, he got away from it, he fled from evil. You see, likewise we speaking against this shit, man, because this ain't the proper way to live, not in the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai, man. All right, but yeah, like the brother mentioned, this is an example of how not to live, man. Mm-hmm.
I got a quick one.
You got it.
This is Psalms chapter 5 and verse 4. It says, "For thou art not a power that hath pleasure in wickedness."
Right.
So the Lord, He isn't okay with what we see taking place on the planet Earth here in this present evil world. In this present evil world, okay, the Lord doesn't have no pleasure in it. That's why you see the talks of World War III and nuclear war. That's why you see that, because it's gonna eventually happen, because it's gonna be righteously done, because wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, like the scriptures say. And the only way to cleanse something that is polluted is through fire or water. And the Lord already used water, so this time He's going to use fire.
That's right.
So it says, I'm gonna read it again, Psalms 5 and 4. "For thou art not a power that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee." Which that's why the Lord gonna have to rid the world of evil. Okay, beginning with those that promote and push out evil, being the Edomites. Okay, after they do 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, they're gonna be deleted. It will be no such thing as a self-proclaimed white man. It will be no such thing as an Edomite after 1,000 years in the kingdom of Israel, in the kingdom of Yahweh Shah.
I got one for you. Was you done reading there?
Oh, you go ahead.
All right. This is Habakkuk 1 and 13 in the NLT. It says, "But you are pure and cannot stand the sight of evil. Will you wink at their treachery? Should you be silent while the wicked swallow up the people more righteous than they?" Right? Because we read in the KJV, it says, "Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity." The Lord, He hates the wickedness that's going on the shores of America.
And you mentioned the flood behavior. Well, when you go into the time before the flood, specifically Genesis the 6th chapter, it said the Most High It repented him that he made man because
Right.
he seen how wicked people was being.
Right.
So how much more now?
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Lord had put his spirit within the prophets to be condemning and cussing out the inhabitants of the earth for their wickedness.
I got that for you. Genesis 6:5. And Yahweh power saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
He saw it. Okay.
Yep.
It tell you that the eyes of the Lord is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. The eyes of the Lord is what? The angels. Whatever is taking place on the planet earth, the Lord sees it all.
Yep. Beholding the ways of man. It says was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
It's not a second, it's not a minute that go by where a nigga ain't thinking some wicked shit. And it was like that the time before the flood.
Yeah. And them spirits is back, man, for judgment. You know, and this is a time worse than even back then. You know?
Yeah. That's what the Lord told Ezra. He said, how much more wickedness shall it bring until the time of threshing come, roughly paraphrasing. Which we in that time of threshing. So that means the wickedness is going to reach a pinnacle that it never has hit.
Yeah, you mentioned Ezra, made me think of 2 Ezra 4:28, which roughly paraphrase what? You know, that pretty much the good cannot come until this place that's sown with evil or wickedness be turned upside down, which is really, you know what I'm saying, things being made right side up. But yeah, that 2 Ezra 4:28.
I'll read it real quick. Because what I quoted was a couple verses after.
That's the spirit.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 4, and starting at verse
like 27.
27. And cannot comprehend. I'm starting at verse 26. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hasteth fast to pass away.
Yep.
And cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities.
See, this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. And what did the angel tell you? He said, the more thou search, the more thou shalt marvel. It made me think of the account in Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. He said, pretty much dig into the wall, and you're going to see the wickedness and abominations of Israel. He's seen them, the women weeping for Tammuz. He's seen the men with their back towards pretty much the Lord and worshiping the sun and so on and so forth. Pretty much the entire chapter of Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, is going into the abominations of Israel and what they're doing today, man. You see? And there's nothing new under the sun. It's been going on in time past. It's going on today, man. You got it?
Yeah. And here it is. People think this is the kingdom. But the Lord literally told Ezra through the angel Uriel, this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities.
Yep.
Verse 28. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. And what was the Ezra asking the Lord about? He was asking about the kingdom. Okay, the kingdom of Yahweh Shah, which is synonymous with the kingdom of Israel. And when the heathens will stop ruling over us, when we stop having to be subjects to the heathen. And this is what the Lord told Ezra. It says, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come.
And that's it, man. The evil is sown, but the destruction has not come yet. What the next verse say, Salakia?
Verse 29, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down.
That's the point.
And if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good.
Right. So this present evil world has to pass away. You know, it hasteneth quick to pass away, but it ain't done yet, man. You know, when the Lord is done with this place, then it's gonna come that which is sown with good, which is the kingdom. You see? But there's a great destruction that's gonna happen before the kingdom is ushered in, man. And that's what a lot of our people fail to realize. They think they just gonna skate into the kingdom and it's gonna be all hunky-dory. That's not the case, man. You know, we got to get through Jacob's trouble. You know, we got to get through the time of the sea hip being mandated and ultimately Armageddon before the kingdom is going to be ushered in, man. So, was that it on there?
There's one more verse.
You got it, bro.
2 Ezra 4:30, for the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness hath it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come.
That's it.
Now let's talk about up until the time of Ezra. You had wickedness going on back then. You had Moses, you had Jake murdering each other, doing everything that they do now. Only difference is they do it on a whole nother level now. Not only so, but they actually have the authorization. They have the license to sin underneath Esau, Edom.
Yeah.
And them thinking that license to sin is from the Most High. That's what's gonna get them destroyed in such a gruesome way. You already see the gruesome judgments. You got people throwing their kids out the car, okay, and then killing themselves. They stabbing. It's a lot of gruesome judgments taking place, but it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's only going to intensify. And this is why we, the prophets, have been set up by Yahweh by Shema Shah to forewarn you. All right, for those that's in the know, to take heed, man. So that way these evils don't befall you in your house. This is Genesis 6:6. It says, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. You know, and the Lord was displeased with man because of how they carrying themselves. You know, but he always had that remnant that he's going to bestow favor upon. And the Lord does show favor, man. You see? So all you got to do is continue to do the work. All right, seek the Lord and endure unto the end. You know, and he said what? That the saints shall be saved, man. But we coming into these times, and you people have been warned. You got some more, brother?
This is what you quoted, backing up that with the flood, because it was wickedness taking place, you know. And I'm just read it, Sirach chapter 40, and starting at verse 9.
Yeah, that's it.
Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood.
Yeah.
So you had wicked people during the time of Noah, and that's why the Lord had said he was gonna flood the earth. It said it repented him. Meaning the Lord felt bad for creating niggas because of how wicked they was being. So how much more now? And that's why you got all these different things taking place: the death, the bloodshed, the strife. Okay, it said, and the sword. You got Jake getting gunned down.
Yep.
It
And
said,
you just had in Chicago the man by the name of Dexter Reed. He was a Jake, got shot 96 times, man. 96. You know, last year we did a lesson about the guy in Akron. He was shot about the same amount of times. So he was hit about 60, but they fired 90 some shots. And all of this is under a minute. They said like 41 seconds. You know, shoot a whole clip and reload and empty a whole nother clip in less than a minute, man. You got it.
Yep. And why did that happen? Because 10 times out of 10, that was a wicked person.
Yeah.
It tell you in the book of Job 4:7, whosoever perished being innocent. You're not gonna see things like that happen to a righteous man. It says, death will Sirach 40:9, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, and you about to have a lot of people starving to death, which is no new thing under the sun. That has been happening to our people. That has been happening to the heathens.
Yeah.
For rebelling against the Most High.
Yeah, and then the scriptures say that 2 Corinthians 8:50 said, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And when you go into miseries and calamities are synonymous. Miseries, calamities, and tribulation. You know, pretty much catching hell. You know, these calamities, because it'll seem like your whole world come crashing down, man. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just real brief. I'm gonna just look up an etymology dictionary of the word calamity. Right? It says calamity, 15th century, damage, state of adversity, a great misfortune, or misery, right? A great misfortune or cause of misery. You see? It says damage, loss, failure, disaster. That's how people feel, man. My life is a disaster. You know what I mean? And this is what the Lord is bringing upon you people who refuse to fear him, man. You see? So can you bring that back, verse 9?
Sirach chapter 40 and verse 9, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood.
And then you see the same flood-like behavior today. You mentioned the Moism, the alphabet community, Jake riding on each other, killing each other. You mentioned idolatry. All these things are punishable by death, man.
Yep. The nigger woman having multiple men and thinking it's okay.
Yeah.
That's punishable by death.
That's right. That's right, brother. You know, and this is what the Lord is about to bring upon this present evil world. You know, death in a big way, man. Ultimately, you know, the scriptures say that what? All shall know me from least to greatest. How is the Lord going to be known? By the judgment which he executes in the earth, man. You see? And these are the times we're coming into. So you people have been warned, man. You got to close the scripture?
Yeah, I got two more.
Let's go.
I'm going to go back to the Psalms.
If anything hit me, I'll bring it out.
The Psalms chapter 5 and I'm going to read verse 4 again. For thou art not a power that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee.
Salakia, my phone cut off. Salakia. Was yours going?
It kind of
All right, let's go.
It says, verse 5, it says, the foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
Let's go.
Like it tell you in Isaiah the 13th chapter, the Lord, it said the Lord gonna punish. So like, cause I'm gonna butcher it.
What you need?
Isaiah 13, it said the Lord said he gonna punish the world
I got you.
for their iniquity.
Yep.
Wow. It said because he hate all the workers of iniquity. And iniquity is what? Sin on top of sin on top of sin. To the point where you live in your life as if the Lord didn't create laws, statutes, and commandments that was supposed to be kept for those that dwelt on the planet Earth.
This is Isaiah 13 and 11. It says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
Going back to what the brother quoted in 2nd Ezra 8. Many great miseries. Those miserable situations people about to find themselves in, that's going to be the humble they ass down. Because people feel like they too good. They feel like they better than the Most High.
Yep.
It tell you that in 2 Timothy the 3rd chapter, they be lovers of their own selves more than lovers of the Most High, roughly paraphrasing. So the Lord got to bring a great humbling.
That's right. You know, he said he's gonna lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. That's that pride, man. That pump that they have, man. That arrogancy. Okay, go ahead. Oh, that was the point. You know, yeah, that was the main point. You know, he said he's gonna punish the world for their evil, and this is the time we coming into. The time the Lord bring a punishment. He said, all these are the beginning of sorrows, man. You know what I'm saying? These are the punishments that the Lord have out for this place. Plagues and pestilence and sword and calamities. Okay?
I got one more.
You got it.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and verse 9. It says, for the ungodly and his ungodliness. So the sin, the sinner and the sin, it says, for the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto the Most High. So the Lord don't like the sin or the sinner, contrary to popular belief, which is why the Lord is about to get rid of all of it. He gonna get rid of you niggas that like to do wickedness, and then it's gonna come to a point where he gonna program y'all once y'all be reborn through the loins of the elect to be righteousness, so that you can't do wickedness no more.
Yep. Get the next verse too, Baba Kashaf.
It says, verse 10, for that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it.
That's it. And I know that this chapter, in conjunction with the previous, is going to idols. You know, and essentially, yeah, man, that's hateful. All right, until Yahweh Shema, because what the scriptures say that in Deuteronomy 13 and like 6, or roughly paraphrasing, that, hey man, if your brother tell you to entice thee, let's go worship another God, he said your hand should be first upon him. You know what I'm saying? To bring him before the congregation, you're gonna stone him there with stones that he died, man, to put away that evil from Israel, roughly paraphrasing. You see? So I was just adding that to it, like the brother saying is on point. The sinner, the Lord hates the sin and the sinner. All right, but on top of that, you know what I'm saying, you out here worship idols, which is soon to be that C-hip is gonna be an idol. You know what I'm saying? That they're gonna try to force a lot of people to take, man. You know what I'm saying? If you join hands with this devil, hey, he said you're gonna be destroyed, man. All right, he said, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, man. Yeah,
because the Lord is fed up with the BS. Okay, the people here on the planet Earth, mainly you Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that like to follow after the self-proclaimed white man and the bullshit he push out. You know, the dogma that he feeds you. The Lord is about to bring judgment. You know, and we about to witness it. We about to experience it. Lord willing, we of the elect. It said, for only with thy eyes shalt thou behold the reward of the wicked.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, Lord willing, we hope and pray this was edifying through the Spirit. Closing, we're going to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, where we learned this truth from. And peace, mercy, and blessings be upon the hopeful elect that believe in this truth and sincerity. Till next time we say, Kwame Ashallah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I was thinking of Psalms